Mr. Limata. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Limata, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely. Won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Limata. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Limata, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely. Won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing.
Good morning, and welcome to Storytime. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Happy Wednesday. Thank you indeed for being here, and thank you for choosing to be a part of the Storytime journey. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope that you're ready for the book that we have for you today, for a sweet story, beautiful illustrations, and just amazing all-around book. Cannot wait to share this one with you. It's coming back to Storytime after was here not too long ago, and I think the illustrations in this book are just amazing, and the story too just so wonderful. So cannot wait to share that with you. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Where are you joining in from? Who is joining in with you, if anybody else? But we're glad you're here. No matter what, we're glad you're here to join us on Storytime, and I hope you're having a lovely start to your day. The Red Tin Box comes back to Storytime after a little while. This one is written by Matthew Burgess, illustrations by TURK, and of course reading this one with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Thank you so much for joining us here today. The Red Tin Box coming right up. I hope you're ready to enjoy the beautiful art, enjoy the beautiful story. Thank you indeed for being here with us on Storytime. Good morning to you. How are you doing today? Kathy joining us from out there in Ohio. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. It's dreary out in Ohio. Well, I hope that this book brings us some of that light, some of that beautiful feelings that we may be seeking this morning. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. And you just reminded me too, Kathy, I know that there's been adverse weather in parts of the country, I think parts of the south, so just making sure too that and I think the Midwest as well, just making sure too that we're sending out those well wishes to everybody out there, and if you can help in whatever ways, hopefully you're able to do that, but hope everybody is safe indeed. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. Good to see you as always, and of course sending Luna love out there as well. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Kathy. Good morning. Thank you indeed for being here, and of course to remember that May is here. Well, today is the 7th. Today's the 7th, just as I said the first time. Today's May 7th, so we have 13 more days before Pamela Courtney's brand new book is out, so get excited for this one. The season for fishing is coming up. If you're able, pre-order, but of course ask for it at your local library. Ask your librarians to stock it so it is there and ready for you on May 20th. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. And if you're in the Bay, please remember too that you can join us at the Berkeley Public Library for the Bay Area Book Festival, and in particular this session, Quiet Voices, Loud Feelings, and I'll be there with Nidhi Chanani, Sonali Patodia, and Christelle Patterson. So come on out and join us. Get to experience their books, get to experience their readings, and of course if you have questions, and book signings will be happening as well. So Lots of fun guaranteed at the Berkeley Public Library at this year's Bay Area Book Festival. Come on out and join us, and you can find the full program at baybookfest.org and get to see all that will be happening. A lot, plenty happening there. A book for everybody indeed. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. We do have a story to get to together, and this one is called The Red Tin Box, and it is coming right up. So get comfortable, get cozy, get ready, and I will see you on the other side of this short break when we are back with more Storytime and our story for today. Thank you indeed for joining us here today on Storytime. I'll see you in a little bit.
Hi, my name's Christine Mitchell-Adams. I'm a mama and an artist, and I believe that books are a great way for children to have access to the arts on an everyday basis, which is why I believe that programs like Storytime with Mr. Limata are so important.
Access to the arts for everybody. Yes, we'll continue to advocate that here at Storytime. And Christina there mentions that she's a mama, and just made me think too, Mother's Day is coming up this Sunday. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, and of course the mother figures out in the world. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you for all the support that you've given to Storytime, all the support that you're giving to the little ones as they continue on their quest to learn their reading, get to whatever they need to do, and of course, just navigate life. Thank you indeed. Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime. And as one person too who I think has by many ways, in so many ways, lived by my mom's teachings, and I just want you to know that whatever you're doing right now sets your children up for the future, right? Well, hopefully those guideposts that you're imparting now will be supports later on, will be guides later on as they grow and continue to navigate life, whether with us here or not. But hopefully we're doing our very best, right? Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime, The Red Tin Box. This one written by Matthew Burgess, illustrations by Evan TURK, and we are reading it with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. And if you do get a chance, honestly, like, this is one of the most beautiful books that you're going to read, and not just beautiful in the story, but also beautiful in the presentation as well. It's just a wonderfully illustrated book. I love the colors so much. But here we go, our story for today, The Red Tin Box. Written by Matthew Burgess, illustrations by Evan TURK, and read with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. On her 8th birthday, when the sun was peeking over the treetops and everyone in the house was still asleep, Maude slipped outside and across the wet grass to the edge of the woods. Where are you going, Maude? It's still too dark out. Still too early. Yes. On her 8th birthday, when the sun was peeking over the treetops and everyone in the house was still asleep, Maude slipped outside and across the wet grass to the edge of the woods. And just thinking too, for those of you that are watching, if you're over 8 years old, do you remember where you were at 8? Or when your 8th birthday was? What were you doing? What did you do? Maude slipped outside and across the grass to the edge of the woods. At the foot of the flowering dogwood, in a soft spot where she once found a fallen nest, the earth seemed to whisper, "Here." Here. Yeah. At the foot of a flowering dogwood, in a soft spot where she once found a fallen nest, the earth seemed to whisper, "Here, here, right here." Maude dug and dug and dug until the hole was deep enough to hold a red tin box. Only Maude knew the treasures she placed inside the box. Only Maude heard the words she said as she buried it. What's in there? Far overhead, the sun kissed the clouds pink. An angle of geese honked excitedly. I will spare you my attempted geese noises, so you're welcome. Far overhead, the sun kissed the clouds pink. An angle of geese honked excitedly. And Maude made a promise to herself. And Maude made a promise to herself. Maude grew and grew and grew as old children do. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Maude grew and grew and grew as old children do. Yeah. She had a daughter of her own, and she grew too. Maude grew and grew and grew as old children do. She had a daughter of her own, and she grew too. But Maude never forgot the red tin box. In one corner of her mind, it glowed. Though one by one, the treasures she had placed inside slipped from her memory. Yeah. Maude had children of her own, and they grew too. But Maude never forgot the red tin box. In one corner of her mind, it glowed. Though one by one, the treasures she had placed inside slipped from her memory. One November afternoon, Maude was seized with a feeling like a bright spring sunrise. November is special like that. One November afternoon, Maude was seized with a feeling like a bright spring sunrise. Yeah. The next day, Maude picked up her granddaughter after school. Together, they turned east as they drove and drove and drove 4 towns over. Yeah. Maude picked up her grandchild from school. Together, they turned east as they drove and drove and drove 4 towns over. Yeah. What's 4 towns over from you? Do you know? Across the river she swam in as a girl, past the road of the old schoolhouse. Maude told Eve about the red tin box, about the hole she dug beneath the dogwood, about the promise she made when she was 8 years old. But what's inside the box? How do you know it's still there? These questions Maude couldn't answer. They sat quietly side by side in worry and in wonder. It was possible they wouldn't find it. So many years had passed. Fingers crossed, right? But there was the dogwood that Maude daydreamed under as a girl. Read books under, fell asleep in the grass under. It was still there. Whoa. I hope they find it. Holding her granddaughter's hand, Maude walked the perimeter of the tree until one spot seemed to whisper, "Here, here." Right here. They took turns nudging the shovels into the cold ground. Digging was hard, but with each small scoop, the dirt became a little bit softer until suddenly, could it be? Was it? The ring of a metallic clank. Could it be? Yes. Eve watched as her grandmother lifted the treasures out, examining them one by one. A tiny toy elephant, a marble like a tiger's eye, an ancient piece of candy wrapped in silver foil, a costume mustache, a small brown bottle, a bird's nest woven with purple string, and an iridescent ear-shaped shell. Oh. Have you buried any time capsules? Do you know what's in there? Do you remember? Eve watched as her grandmother lifted the treasures out, examining them one by one. A tiny toy elephant, a marble like a tiger's eye, an ancient piece of candy wrapped in silver foil, a costume mustache, a small brown bottle, a bird's nest woven with purple string, and an iridescent ear-shaped shell. If you were to pick one, which one would you get? No. There they are. Once Maude let out such a high-pitched that a dog in the distance began barking. Ruff, 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 ruff. Maude told many stories on the drive home. Sometimes Eve asked questions. Sometimes she laughed when her grandmother laughed. And it didn't bother her when her grandmother cried. Not a little bit. Yeah. Maude told many stories on the drive home. Sometimes Eve asked questions. Sometimes she laughed when her grandmother laughed. And it didn't bother her when her grandmother cried. No. Not one bit. No. When they arrived, Maude placed the red tin box into her granddaughter's hand. this is for you. Far overhead, the stars blinked. An angle of geese honked in the dusky sky, in the dusky dark. And Eve, seized with a feeling, made a promise to herself. Yeah, far overhead, the stars blinked. An angle of geese honked in the dusky dark. And Eve, seized with a feeling, made a promise to herself. What do you think it is? And that is the end of our story today. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope you enjoyed that journey, that trip down memory lane, and also, just presently with Eve and then Maude, going back to that dogwood and checking out the red tin box. This one coming to us from Matthew Burgess, illustrations by Evan TURK, and another beautiful book coming to us from Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. I'll see you on the other side of this very brief message. Thank you indeed for being here.
Hi, I'm Auntie Pam of the Homeschooling Kinfolks down here in Natchitoches, Louisiana, and you're tuned in to Storytime with Mr. Limata.
Welcome back. Thank you indeed for joining us here today. And Auntie Pam, sending you all the love out there in Natchitoches, Louisiana. Congratulations on your brand new book coming out on May 20th. So please mark your calendars for that one. Thank you indeed. Our book today was The Red Tin Box. So much that I just appreciate about this book. And and I love Maude's relationship with Eve, her granddaughter, and just reminds me too, like my grandma never picked me up from school, but whenever I got back home, and how lucky was I, school ended at 1:30, and so got home and grandma I loved it when grandma was there, because the food would be there and just the stories and just the laughter, and it was one of the best things really growing up, like just coming back home and knowing she would be home at that time, and at that time too everybody else would be at school and doing other things, and so I kind of got this time with my grandma, a lot of it, and so it was really cool and really nice. And so as I was reading this story, as I read this story now, and even whenever I do get a chance to read it, it always takes me back through that journey, my own journey, and just realizing too the stories that grandma shared, stories we shared, and just how those memories carry you through life, and just always just a reminder too. I know grandparents out there, Kathy joining us, and whoever else is listening in too, like, get to share those stories, like it is a bridge. Those stories are a bridge for generations, right? So if we have that those opportunities to share stories, to be in community together, why not, right? So I hope that you enjoyed that wonderful book, and you can find it wherever else you find books. Of course, remember too, libraries are there for you. They are a big resource. They're there for you, and by you getting books from the library, you getting your library card, you are supporting libraries and supporting the many other resources that they provide. Some libraries do offer showers, for those that are unhoused, and other resources, internet services, and so many more things. So get your library card, and of course request those wonderful books that we've read together here as well. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime. And Kathy, thank you indeed. It is, right? Beautiful story, beautiful illustrations. Definitely one that warms my heart every time. And apologies too for not warning you again this time to bring your Kleenex, because I feel like it is one of those stories that just needs you to have your Kleenex nearby. Sweet book, sweet story. I love it. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you for being a part of this story time today. But remember too that we're back again tomorrow, and we will be reading 3 Cheers for Kid McGear. Yes, Sherry Daskirinka AG Ford bring us their famous construction site series, and we will be reading 3 Cheers for Kid McGear. So come and join us. Let's have fun together. Thank you so much for joining in. This has been Story Time today, and we hope to see you again on many more Story Times to come. And of course, this one is coming out on May 20th, a season for fishing, coming to us from Pamela Courtney, Tony D. Chambers, and of course, Farah Strauss and Giroux, an imprint of Macmillan Press. And if you're wondering where Storytime will be on May 31st, well, you can find us at the Bay Area Book Festival, and in particular at the Quiet Voices, Loud Feelings session. This one I'll be joining Nidhi Chenani, Sonali Padodia, and Christelle Patterson for their wonderful session. Come and hear their readings, come and hear about their books, come on and join us and have fun. Thank you so much for being here with us today on Storytime. This has been Storytime on this beautiful Wednesday morning, and I hope that it is beautiful for you as well, and we hope to see you again tomorrow for another amazing story. Biggest of hugs. Thank you for being here. Bye-bye.
Story time with Mr. Limata. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Limata, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely. Won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing Story Time with Mr. Limata. He will be starting soon. Oh, Story Time with Mr. Limata, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely. Won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing stories. Read me all of the stories. Some stories from far away, others right here in my neighborhood. Story time. Oh, story time. Story time with Mr. Limata. He will be starting soon. Story time with Mr. Limata, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely. Won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely. Won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing